My name is Isaiah Dennis, major in animation and game art, and my thesis revolves around the intersection between art and games. Playing them as a child left me in awe and wonder, and continuing to play them well into adulthood has left me with that same starstruck feeling, but with a better understanding of what goes on behind the scenes. I knew I wanted to work on games one day, and I was determined to see that dream realized, but actually creating the game, the technical aspects at least, were not the most appealing to me. Working toward this goal has let me discover how exactly I wanted to contribute, and that was with the visual aspect. The art of the world, characters, animation, UI, those were the things that people would see. Those were the things that gave these projects life. My thesis is an attempt at trying to make a game without really making a game. It's a 30-second conceptual game trailer, following my process from character design up until the finished product. Inspiration for it stemmed from some of my favorite pixel art games growing up. River City Girls, Scott Pilgrim, and a little bit of Street Fighter. They exemplify what I valued the most about a game, and what I'd like to create. Something fun, somewhat nonsensical, and full of charm. Lots of my thesis stemmed from sketches, conceptualization, and reevaluation. There were bumps along the way, and more than a few times where I'd want to radically change what I was doing, but sticking with it was important and allowed me to break through when it really mattered. Firstly, like I do with most ideas when they pop into my head, I wrote a ton actually, trying to rationalize and picture what exactly I wanted from this project. Who are the main characters? Where are they? Why are they fighting? What obstacles will they face? All of it was taken into consideration as I wrote a sort of draft for my game's story. It really helped me inform myself when it came to drawing who would populate the world. When it came to character design, I knew I needed to have something simple enough for me to tolerate animating for extended periods of time. My character, Tara, is what resulted from that. Her being black was also important, as leading roles in games usually aren't given to people of color. On top of that, it made her hair a fun aspect to animate. It was imperative for her hair to be very bouncy. While designing her, I had to think about how she would move, and so I would write down ideas, film my own reference, or look at what has been done in other games. When it came to actually creating the assets, I do it in a program called Sprite. Its ease of use and extensive animation tools helped a ton compared to something like Photoshop, which I was using prior for my pixel art. My animation process consisted of 3 steps. First, I do a rough pass and a black outline of my character. Devolving my character into a single amorphous shape helped me to focus on just getting the movement out of the way before I had to detail the entire body. Usually I'd try to break up things like hands or legs, which let me work on one body part at a time. Next, I'd mess with the timing of the animation, while also tweaking any oversights I had in the rough pass. One rogue pixel was enough to change how the sprite appeared. It was in this phase where I wanted to eliminate the need to change my sprite too heavily, and only had to focus on color next. Coloring the character is the last step I needed to take in Sprite. It's the point where I actually get to see my characters move. I make sure the color palette is consistent with what I had originally planned, and then export each frame to be imported into Adobe Premiere. In Premiere, I could use these characters to sell the illusion of a game space, and gain the footage needed to create my trailer. Adding things like an HP bar and KO effects helped push this from just an idea to something that was well on its way to becoming an actualized game. I'm hoping to use this project to further develop my animation skills in the future, and possibly see my thesis morph from something you can watch into something you can play. Thank you for listening.